Завтра тоже сделайте. Good evening, dear all English Without Borders followers, members, and our friends, guests, all of those who are a big followers and fans of English Without Borders. And let me convey our deepest gratitude for all of you who are joining this webinar. And today I'm super excited to introduce our speaker today, our dear Nancy Ackles. She's joining us from the United States right now, very early in the morning, and we appreciate her time and energy to share her knowledge with teachers who are joining English Without Borders platform from different parts of the world. And today she's going to introduce us and to tell about exciting opportunities to participate in TESOL International Convention and English Language Expo, which will take place next year in March in Tampa, Florida, United States. And Nancy, welcome to English Without Borders. We are very happy to see you. And let me just give some information about our speaker for those who don't know. Nancy is particularly super famous in Tajikistan because she's visited Tajikistan for several times. And she has a big fan of English language followers here as well. And we really appreciate Nancy's ongoing support of English Without Borders. So Nancy Ackles is an English teacher and teacher trainer who has taught in Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan as a Fulbright scholar and the US State Department specialist. She holds a PhD degree from the University of Washington in Seattle and is the author of American Teen Talks, Teens Talk, and the Grammar Guide, Developing Language Skills for Academic Success. And more than that, she has built huge networks around the world by helping and uniting English language teachers worldwide. And with big pleasure, I'm giving the floor to our dear speaker. Nancy, over to you. And dear all, please use this chance to ask your questions in the chat box, or if you are watching us from Facebook, you can put your questions in the comment box. So we'll be addressing those questions to our speaker after our presentation. So Nancy, over to you. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you for that very kind introduction. Yes, I am delighted to be able to be with you for me this morning. It's you, it's evening. And yes, I have been in Tajikistan. I would love to come again if I could or can ever. I'll jump at a chance. And I hope that what I have to present to you today will be a little bit useful. As Nasiba said, there's a convention next spring, and I'm hoping, I want to share a screen right now, and I hope I've got the right one. When I click here, I hope it'll pop up just what I want. Yes, okay. Can you see my shared screen now? Yes, okay. I've put the link to this web page in the chat box, or you can just search for it online. But if you want to save it, it's in the chat box. And this is Call for Convention Proposals for TESOL 2024. And this is a big conference. The lots of people attend. Nowadays, there's a live one where people go to the city, and there'll be, a couple thousand or 4,000 or something, or 5,000 people come. And then there's also the virtual conference that people sign up for and pay some money to attend. And on those days, you can watch presenters from all over the world speak with videos. So the in-person presentation will be in Tampa, Florida, next spring, Thursday through Saturday, the 21st to the 23rd of March. And then after that, on the 11th and 12th of April, there will be the virtual conference where everything is done online through videos and live talks. So I'm just going to show you that on this site, there's a lot of information about how to write a proposal, submit a proposal, links to the things you need to do. And the first thing there is, if you're going to give us a submission for a proposal for this conference, it's due Thursday, June 1st at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the United States, which will be a little different in Tajikistan and other places. But then as you look down, you'll see that there are these pieces over here. There's a proposal worksheet for the in-person, a proposal worksheet for virtual, a checklist, and this rubric that will be used to judge proposals. And over on the right, there's information about every section of the proposal and the application. So if you decide to write a proposal, and I hope you do, you want to go to this page and read as much as you can. So I'm going to stop share there, unless someone has a question right away. Okay, then I'm going to share something else. If I can find it. There it is. I think I found the right one. Yes. This is on selecting a session type. And if you write a proposal, you have to choose the type that you want to propose. I've called up the page on virtual presentations because I think that's probably more practical for most of you. Getting to Florida, I'm in Florida now. For me to get to Tajikistan is very expensive. Otherwise, I'd come all the time, okay? And it would be expensive for you to come here unless somebody is helping pay your way. Excuse me. So I'll call up the thing on the virtual presentations. If you decided you wanted to do face-to-face, it's very, very similar. And you have three choices. One is a presentation only. And this you would record a 30-minute video. And you would give your presentation. And then it would be played during the conference. And you can have 1, 2, 3, or 4 presenters. Now, if you have 4 presenters, you each get about 7 minutes. If you have 2 presenters, everybody gets 15 minutes. So you have to think, would this be appropriate? Is this something I'd like to do with a friend? Did 2 or 3 of us work together on a project that we could share? So that's presentation only. The second one is called presentation with Q&A. And this one is, you do just like presentation only. You make a 30-minute video, but then when they show the video, you have to have registered for the conference, which costs a little bit of money, not a huge amount, but a little bit of money. And you have to be there when that video is shown. And then there will be 15 minutes for people to ask you questions and for you to answer questions, for you to add to your talk. I asked the woman at TESOL this week about time zones, and she said, well, if you choose this one, you have to be there live, but they do try to match the time of this presentation to something that's workable in your time zone. They try not to make you get up at 2 a.m. To do it. So this one, again, you could have 1, 2, 3, or 4 people work together on it. And the description here is for both the presentation only or the presentation with Q&A. It says these are engaging, that means interesting, oral presentations, which give presenters a chance to share their ideas, their experiences, their perspectives, gleaned, that's gathered, from research or practice, that's your work as a teacher, you learn a lot there, or policy background. Some people are administrators who make policies for an area or a nation or a school system. Most of us would be on our practice or possibly our research. And they may provide the audience with opportunities for participation and engagement. If you do the second one with the 15-minute Q&A, the audience gets a chance to talk too. And they hope that they will serve as springboards to stimulate more discussion, dialogue, reflection, and action. And presenters may submit a joint proposal, means 2 or more people, focusing on related techniques, issues, practices, or research projects. So if you and a friend have done something similar, but a little bit different, that would fit in here. Or you could, maybe you work together on a project. Then the last one, they don't always have, but this year they're going to have it again. It's teaching tip. And this is a 20-minute pre-recorded session. So it's a 20-minute video, and it can be up to 2 people. It can be 1 person or 2, and you speak and you summarize your work in relation to actual teaching, your practice, the work you do. And it's just a tip means a good idea to share with someone else. So if you in your teaching have discovered a good idea that works in your context, and you think it might work well for some other teachers, teaching tip might be exactly what you should propose. And the proposal should include a brief description of the teaching tip. You get 300 words. You can't explain, you can't write the whole speech, but you will need to include a description of your good teaching idea. And personally, I think this is a great way to get started in writing proposals. Okay, before I close this page, does someone have a question you want to ask right now? Okay. Then there are 3 parts to a proposal, and I want to share them with you. Sorry, losing my ability to speak English here. There are 3 parts. You have to have a title, you have to have an abstract, and then you have to have a description. And there are strict rules for each part. And what I'm going to do is show you the pieces of a proposal that I wrote that was accepted for the conference that just finished. So I'm shy to show you my own work, but this is mine. I'm not sharing something that belongs to someone else. I turned it in, it was accepted, and I led this discussion live in Portland back in March. The thing that's a little bit different is last year they didn't have teaching tips, but they had a category called discussions. And a discussion meant that I would lead invite people to come and together. I would lead a discussion. I would present some material, but I'd be asking them to talk a lot. And so if I share screen, let me see if I can get my correct pieces each time. I think this is the one I want to share. It's just a little hard to see here. Okay, this was the title of my proposal. Planning for Change, Teachers' Input on Overcoming Barriers to Innovation. And so it's got 10 words, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the maximum number you're allowed. So you have to be very careful in choosing your words. What I do is I work on a Word document, and it will tell me at the bottom of the page how many words. This one probably, yeah, at the bottom of my page, it says 10 words, okay? So I work offline until I have exactly what I want. Then I can cut and paste it into the proposal online that goes to TESOL. There are a couple of other things. You'll want to read their careful rules about punctuation. Notice how I have capital letters on everything except the little prepositions. That's required. And I don't tell my name. I don't tell my school or where I'm from. You know, you don't, it's supposed to be anonymous. Now, it's possible you could say something like, ideas from Central Asia to share with the world, you know, because Central Asia is big, but you don't say your own place or your own name. And I'll go through and show you the other parts, but planning for change, that part let the reader know my topic. And then the second part showed the specific part of that topic that I wanted to deal with. There are lots of things we do when we plan ahead to make changes, but I wanted to talk about teachers and what they can tell us about overcoming barriers or things that stop change, innovation. Got a question? Anybody? Okay. Now, I think the next thing I'll share is the description of my proposal, because, well, I'll tell you the two hardest parts of writing a proposal. Number one, this is the hard one, coming up with an idea. You know, that's that I struggle with. Maybe you have ideas just bouncing out of your head all the time. I don't, okay? Someone wrote innovation regarding what? And you're right. It could be, I'm talking about innovation in irrigation or farming or engineering. I sort of assumed that people would know I was talking about teaching English because it's a teaching English conference. But when I show you the abstract, you'll understand that it does. I have more information that I get to give them, and they'll know that it's about teaching. So let's see, was there another question? No, okay. Oh, but I see someone said assalamu alaikum, and I should say that too. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. If I can find my correct place. Yes. The second thing that's hard for me is writing the description. After I have an idea, I have to spend a lot of time writing the description. And then when you write the abstract, abstract honestly means pull out of. Tract is from the Latin word for pull. You know, a tractor, is a farm machine that pulls things, and ab means away or from. So you're pulling some things out to write your abstract. So I work on the body, the description first, and then I pull out some things to make my abstract. So this is what I wrote. Okay, I said, professional development projects for public school teachers regularly introduce new approaches, methods, and techniques. Trainers give information on the best current practices with the hope that teachers will move away from teacher-centered classrooms, textbook dependence, and a strong emphasis on grammar rules and memorization. Replacing these with student-centered classes, communicative approaches, text-based and task-based and project-based learning. That part describes the setting into which I'm going to speak. It's good to let people know what the situation is. And then you show that there's some kind of a problem. There's something that we don't know how to do. There's a little gap between what we try to do and what we achieve. So, however, see, that's my but, there is often little or no thought given to the obstacles teachers face when trying to implement these new ideas. As one teacher said about a training program, quote, this is a real quote, "I can use these methods in my American Corner classes, but if I try them at school, I will be considered a bad teacher, maybe a crazy person." And I don't know if you've been around that at all, but in some places, you know, the parents and the school principal and the students all have very strong ideas about what you need to do in class. And it is not communicative and task-based and project-based. They think you should be writing in your copybooks. So what I've done is I've described the situation the way it is, and then I've told a problem. And then I showed that I'm not the only person who noticed this. I know that there is some research on the topic. Actually, when I got the idea, I didn't know there was any research on the topic, but I went looking. I did a web search, went out to some library bases, and I could say, although obstacles have been documented in research, and then I show that I know a place you can go. Adams and Newton, 2009, provides a good summary. Input from teachers remains a frequently overlooked source of knowledge on implementing change. There's my idea. I say, wait a minute, we haven't been listening enough to the classroom teachers when we come in with our specialist training programs or whatever. And then, so to summarize again, I better repeat myself. I describe the situation, I explain the gap, the problem, and then I say, yes, there are people, but it's often overlooked. We don't do enough. People have noticed the problem, but we haven't done enough thinking about it. And then I explain what will happen in my presentation. This presentation will discuss 4 major sources of resistance to new methods. Students' discomfort. Sometimes students do not want to try new things. Second one, parents' expectations. And I found an article where a man was researching in Taiwan, I think, and or maybe it was in China. Oh dear. But he found that the parents had come in and say, no, this isn't what kids should be doing. School administrators' concerns. Why do you have a noisy classroom? And then there's the government exam requirements. So we all know are often a problem. How can I do these new things when I have to prepare them for the government exam? So I've told them exactly what I'm going to talk about, or we, and this one was a discussion, we'll talk about these 4 things. And then I say what I will do, okay? The presenter, see, I don't give my name, I say, and I don't say I, okay? The presenter will give strategies for overcoming these challenges, learned through experience and through discussion with local teachers in several international settings. See, I say I have experience and I've talked to international teachers. They know. Participants will then have an opportunity to share their own experiences, wisdom, and best ideas. And they'll, okay, that's what will happen. I'll share my ideas. I'll let the audience, the group, share their ideas. And then participants will then, participants will share their ideas and leave with a collection of strategies for overcoming barriers to change. And that's saying, okay, why should someone come? What will they get out of it? And it's really good if you can tell them, well, participants or listeners to this teaching tip will learn how to handle this problem, or have a better way of dealing with text messages in class, or have a good way of taking attendance without taking up any time. Whatever it is, let them know that you have something that the people who spend their time here will go away with. And because this was a discussion, I listed my discussion questions. And I have 5 good discussion questions. Most of your proposals aren't for a discussion, so you won't have discussion questions. But I can see here at the bottom of my page, you have a 300-word limit. This is 299 words, okay? You have to be very careful to match the word limit that they give you. So if I stop sharing right here, does anyone have a question right now? Okay, so in your description, what you're trying to do is, 1 is to have a good idea. 2 is to kind of describe a situation. Teachers working in classrooms with many students in the class. Teachers working without access to technology in the class. Teachers working in multilingual classes. Teachers working where there's one dominant language and some minority languages in the classroom. Teachers working in a community that has to change their, they used to have a different national second language, and now English is becoming their national second language, something like that, the situation. And then you say, here's a problem, something we haven't quite solved, and I have an idea that might help. This is what I'll tell people so that they can go away with this new idea, new skill. Try to give them something they can take away. Okay. I don't see any hands going up, so I'm just going to keep moving. I'm going to share. I hope I can find now my abstract. There it is. As I said before, an abstract is something that you pull from the from your proposal. You pull it out, and you have 50 words, no more, okay? And I can see that mine has 47 words, so I made it, okay? And I remember spending time working on this, trying to say it in exactly 50 words, no more. And so this one says, professional development programs for classroom teachers frequently encourage new approaches. So there's a situation, professional development programs for classroom teachers. That's the field, the topic that I'm working with. I'm not talking about research on pronunciation or something, okay? Professional development programs for classroom teachers frequently encourage new approaches. That's our situation. Here's the problem, that teachers are unable to implement. Implement means put to use, but it's one word instead of three, okay? Because of resistance from students, administrators, or parents, and from the pressure of required exams. There's, those are the obstacles. So then I wisdom and best ideas. Now, can you see how that is an abstract that pulls things out of the body of the proposal? I'll stop share. When you go to TESOL, or when someone does the virtual TESOL, they don't see the description, that 300-word thing. But that's what the people at the conference use to decide, is this the session I should go to, or should I go to the one that down the hall? Because they'll have several happening at the same time. All three parts are important to the people who read the proposals and either accept them or reject them. So you need to do all three parts as well as you can. Comments. Anyone want to say something? Okay. Well, I think I have one more thing to share with you. If you, no, that's the call for proposals. Just a minute. I might have to do just a little searching here to get the one I want. 1 second here. Oh, come on, I can't see what I'm after. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Share screen. There it is. Thank you for your patience here. I'm sharing so many different things. I had to have several things up. Okay, this is a page that you will find if you go to the Call for Proposals website from TESOL, and it's a worksheet. It's not the final proposal. This is the worksheet. You're supposed to print it off. Personally, I would print off 2 copies because I'd be working with it a lot. But you can just write on it and make your decisions. And then you'll be ready when you decide that you want to submit your proposal and put it in the website. So you have to do some things. You select a strand, and that strand is like a thread, okay? And in the conference, they have threads. So down here, one of them is language assessment. Can you see I'm pointing to it? I don't know. But there'll be lots of sessions that are about testing and assessment. And so they mark in the book, this session has to do with assessment. Now, my guess is, I don't know, but my guess is you probably are more likely to have an idea on content integrated approaches, cultural and intercultural communication, maybe on listening, speaking, and pronunciation, the oral skills, maybe on reading, writing, and literacy, the written skills, okay, or vocabulary and grammar. Maybe you have a teaching tip for working with vocabulary, or maybe you have a good idea for a speaking activity, and you could give it as a teaching tip or as a presentation. Then you also have to select a context. And for many of you, it would be English as a foreign language. That means you're teaching English in a place where people out on the street and in the rest of the students' classes and things, they're all working in another language. And then they come to your English class. Bilingual and multilingual education is when you have, like here in the United States, many classes have people who come from families that speak English, and others, quite a few others who come from families that speak Spanish and English. And if you go to the web page, that first one I showed you, you can click on a thing that describes each of the contexts and each of the strands. It tells you about them to help you choose the right one. And then you have to choose the primary audience. And that means the best people to listen to your talk. And well, if you're teaching grades 7 to 12, obviously secondary school. If you're teaching kids who are grades 6 and under, they're 11 years old or less, then you want primary school. But maybe you're doing, I don't know, teacher education, or maybe you're tutoring, or maybe you are at a private school. I don't know. But the audience, the number one audience would appreciate what you have to say. And then you can choose one secondary one more. I don't know you real well, but I'm guessing a lot of you teach both primary school and secondary school. And so you might have an idea that works for all of those learners. So you could choose a second one. But maybe you think it's good for secondary schools and it's good for teacher education programs. And then you have to select the session focus. Almost all of us will be choosing practice or pedagogy-oriented session. Research-oriented session, well, if you do a research project this next year and you're ready to present research findings, then you could do research-oriented session. Conceptually oriented means you're thinking about the great theories of language acquisition. And policy-oriented means you're thinking about best meets your needs. Presentation only, presentation with Q&A, or a teaching tip. And honestly, they are allowed, if they think, this is good, but I don't think it's really enough for a 30-minute, they can send back and say, we like this, would you do it as a teaching tip instead? I would say yes. And then there's the part, this is, you practice before you go online, but there will be the place you put the abstract, the place you put the title, the session description, and there are some, things they tell you about it. And then you don't have to cite books and research, but if, like me, you put in something that says Cowan 2009, you can just put it there, and that takes up 2 words. And then here, it doesn't count in your 300 words. You can put down, this is optional, the sources, and I would put down exactly what Cowan 2009 is. Okay, so if you decide to do this, which I hope you will, go ahead and go to that website, print this off, and use it to think and to do a little practicing. Okay. Now I'm really ready for some No, I'm really hoping you'll ask questions, and I'm hoping I might have a good answer for them. Does anyone have a question?
Thank you, Dee Nancy. Very great presentation in terms of like, I guess like all those who joined us today, they are thinking of applying, yes, to TESOL. And let's hope that at least like, you know, some of options that the participants have an opportunity to present in person or just, you know, to make a presentation virtually. And there are several options that you already mentioned. And I think it's a good opportunity to use and also to apply. And one more thing, as we discussed together, if you are not accepted, yeah, yes, please, please tell about that, because
yes,
like
I do
teachers
want to tell you that your proposal, really good proposals, sometimes are not accepted. And there are lots of reasons for that. One is they get a lot more proposals than there's time for. So if there are lots of good proposals, some good proposals will not be accepted. It's also true that they try to balance things out so that they have some things that are on assessment and some things that are on pedagogy and some things that are on speaking and some things that are on writing. So, and that part where you could choose whether this was for materials writers or for secondary teachers, they're trying to balance everything out. So if they get lots of proposals in one and not many in the other, well, the one that got lots of proposals, they have a limit. They have a maximum number they can have on writing, and they have a maximum number they can have on assessment. And if they happen to get a lot of assessment ones, some good ones may be rejected. It's also true when you choose that area of focus, the people who read your proposal will be people who work in that area. So you want to be careful to choose the right one, because if you put in something about teaching, it's really about teaching secondary students, and you put it under writing materials, the writing materials people will say, oh, this doesn't quite fit. So that's important. But the other thing is, I don't know if I want to say sometimes it's just luck or so. Oh, there's another thing that they do try to get a balance of things that will appeal to international and not everything that would be for secondary schools in the United States or something like that. So they actually are looking for things that will appeal and work for international teachers. That's a plus for you. But I don't know if I want to say it's luck or God's guidance, because I tend to say, oh, I don't really believe in luck. I believe that God is guiding my life. But sometimes you just go, now that's strange. I have no idea why that was rejected. So many of you know Lisa Mann. She and I put in a proposal together one year. And there are 3 reviewers, and 2 of them thought it was wonderful. And one of them just wrote really strange things. We couldn't understand even what this person meant, you know, but he gave it, I think probably a he, maybe a she, I don't know, gave it such a low score, it was rejected. And Lisa and I thought, what? Okay. We actually asked a person who leads things at the convention, and he said, I'm sorry, you didn't get the kind of reviewer we try to have. So sometimes something just goes wrong. But it's good for you. It's really good for you to try. You're gaining professional skills. And there are other conferences. If it gets rejected for TESOL, there are lots of area conferences. Regions of the world have conferences. We hope there'll be another Central Asia one sometime. So that's good for you. Oh, and I have one last tip. Always be sure to have, be brave and have some good friends go over it with you. You don't want there to be even one tiny punctuation or grammar mistake, or somebody may be able to give you a better word choice or help you think of a better reason why people need to try this activity or whatever you're doing. So definitely get yourself a friend and get yourself a proofreader.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dee Nancy. And I was wondering if anyone from our today participants, like who are watching us on Facebook and also who are joining Zoom, has any one of you applied for TESOL ever or not? If yes, what was the result? I know that Firuz, can you hear us?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Nancy. Yes, I can hear you, but I'm driving. I'm sorry that I couldn't just talk to you. Yes, I have applied, and hopefully, I've completed 3 years. It was 2020, 2021, and 2022. I had 3 online virtual TESOL. And then, as you know, we were applied for in person, but unfortunately, we couldn't go to Portland.
Yeah.
But you were able to do it virtually, right? To present
Yes,
virtually.
3 years.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Wonderful.
That's a
Yeah.
good, that's a
We
success.
recorded a video. Me, Gulia, and Zebo. 3 of us, we recorded a video, and yes, they showed our video on TESOL.
Great.
Yeah,
And I
that's
see
great.
in the chat box, I'm going to lose the name, but one person is saying, I applied. Unfortunately, I wasn't chosen. Yes, that is unfortunate, but congratulations on applying. And if it was a good idea, well, maybe rewrite the proposal and submit it again. Okay. Maybe you have a new idea, but then maybe your old idea was really good and just needs to be written real well. And then it'll be a different group of people reviewing it this time. They might have a different limit on how many they can accept, or they might have a different opinion. Good, you will try to apply this year too. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nancy. Just to encourage our participants, please believe me. Many teachers applied for TESOL, and one of them, Firuz, mentioned that he also applied. And also we had Zebo Murodova, who applied for several years, and she was also got accepted. She did virtually because of the COVID. During the COVID time, she did it virtually. And last year, we also, English with Alboras, submitted a proposal with Lisa Mann, and then it was accepted, and we did it virtually. Lisa was participating in person, but me and Gulnora Mirzovoeva, we joined it virtually. And my message is here, just try and keep trying all the time, because like as Nancy mentioned, so you will improve your writing skills year by year. And of course, you will improve your professional capacity as well to apply for more opportunities to participate, not only in TESOL, but there are so many TESOLs like TESOL Arabia, TEFL, and so many others that, of course, you will be able to use this opportunity to apply to many other conferences and boost your writing skills in submitting proposals as well. So thank you so much. Yes, please, Nancy.
One more thought. I know we're going to end here, but if you've got a good proposal, it's a good idea, but it's not accepted, you could think about writing it up for the English Without Borders newsletter, I think. Write it as an article, or you maybe, I don't know, but maybe you could present a webinar on it. If it's a good idea, a good thought, a good discussion, don't throw it away. Use it.
Exactly. We will be happy to share your success stories, to share your teaching practices, and of course, to celebrate your success throughout your teaching through English with Alboras conferences, webinars, and also newsletter. Thank you so much. And Nancy, just could you please also mention that we are going to have another webinar, right?
I guess so. Okay. I said to let's see, but well, maybe we could have a Zoom and then have breakout rooms where you could get together in a group of 3 or 4 and talk to each other about your proposals. So if you have an idea, think about it. You don't have to have it all written out with a 10-word title and a 50-word abstract, but think about what you would put in the description, and if you can, a title or whatever, and let's get together on Zoom. And I can't check all of them. I would be embarrassed to do it anyway. I'm not the world's perfect reader, okay? But you are perfect readers for each other. And so we can get together in little groups and help each other. And some of us who've had success maybe can move from room to room and offer our tips also.
Yes, that's great. So please save the time. In 2 weeks, we are going the same time on Friday. It's going to be May 19th. Yeah, we are going to organize another webinar at 5 p.m. But it's going to be only on Zoom. And we are going to work in groups, as Nancy mentioned. And of course, like, please come up with great ideas, and also with your partners or your colleagues with whom you are going to submit your application. And one more thing, so we will be working very hard all together since the deadline is approaching. Deadline is June 1st. June 1st is ETS time, which means, like, you know, so Tajikistan is 10 hours before that. So still June 1st till midday. Yes, till midday, you have time to apply for that. And so please don't miss the deadline. So we are organizing the second webinar in order to help all of you who have good ideas, yeah, and who would like to apply that. So please save the date, May 19th, 5 p.m. And we will make a post for you to register in advance for this Zoom webinar. And we will have another webinar with Nancy and all those who want to participate at TESOL 2024 in Florida, USA. Okay, so Nancy, yes, go ahead.
There's a thing in the comment box that says to apply, you have to be a member. I don't think that's true. I think you can submit a proposal without being a member. But if you're not a member of TESOL, you end up paying a lot more to go. So we can check, and Nasiba can check and send out a message to you
yes,
all.
Yes,
I believe you can submit a proposal before you become a member.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's a good opportunity to boost your skills, and we can just next year. By the way, English Without Borders also provides an opportunity to obtain a 1-year membership. So every year we have around like 10-15 slots available. And of course, if you have a great idea, you can apply next year, and maybe next year we will be able to provide membership option for you as well. Yeah. Thank you so much. So Mehri is asking, is it only offline? As we mentioned, as Nancy mentioned, TESOL is going to be both online and offline, right, Nancy?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you can, the things I was showing you were for online, so that you could do it, record it before the conference, send it in. You wouldn't have to be there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Hey, hello. This is Vanessa. I am from Tajikistan. It was a really nice webinar, Ms. Nancy. I had a question. So for those who are selected for the in-person TESOL conference, would the expense be covered, or it will be on the presenter side?
The expenses are on the presenter's side. There are some scholarships, and sometimes your relo has a program that can help, but TESOL itself just says we have to pay our own way and pay our registration fees. So
one more thing. I've noticed in your abstract, you did not have a literature review, so they don't require it.
I didn't have a link to what?
You didn't have the literature review in your abstract. Like, did you have it in?
No, for these kinds of proposals, in the description, I mentioned, you could see little parentheses with a name and a year. And that's, literature, but I didn't put the full reference in the description. And then they have an extra box where you can put the full citation. And that's because you don't want to use up all 300 words on citations. That would be terrible. Okay. And this is more of, for most of the presentations, this is more practice and teaching oriented. Then it's not the same as an academic conference on research into the human brain and language or something. So you don't have as much literature.
One more question. So
Okay,
if you,
these people want to leave, I think. Yes, please.
so if I submit my proposal, for the people who will read my proposal, is there any fee for them to pay, or?
No. You submit, they are volunteers. And right now, I think today might be the last day for people to apply to be proposal readers. And they are volunteers. They have to be people who've attended and been to a TESOL conference, who know what it's like, know what's needed. They're professionals in the field, and they volunteer because they want to support the project and the organization.
Yeah, we have to use it. It's
Okay.
very helpful. Thank you.
Yep, thank you so much. And once again, so please don't forget, and we are going to make a post next week for the webinar, for our second webinar on Zoom. And thank you once again, dear Nancy, for your great support and your big heart to volunteer and help so many English language teachers worldwide. We really appreciate your ongoing support and help in promoting English language